congrats to Coach Shaw and to Stanford for winning the Pac-12 North. And in looking at the film, you see a team that's really extremely hot right now, winning 8 of their last 9 games, beating 2 top 10 teams in the last 3 games. Offensively, you watch it, and the majority of the offense is running through Bryce Love and a very talented offensive line. But what has really stood out the last 3 or 4 games is the play of KJ Costello and the outside receivers and how that has come into play in the offense. I thought KJ played an unbelievable game against Notre Dame last week, throwing for 4 touchdowns. And when you have that two-headed monster of that balance of both run and pass, hard to defend. Defensively, I think they've played extremely well in the last 7 games on this run that they've been on, and it all happens down really through the middle of their defense. It always has, starting with Harrison right there at the nose tackle, going to Enrique at Mike linebacker and Reed at safety. That middle of their defense has always been a strength for them in the 8 years that I've been here, and you look up and it is once again. It should be a great game. It's 2 really good teams battling for a conference title. Should be a lot of fun. On the injury front, we held Rasheem Green today for shoulder. He's day-to-day. Tyler Petit we held today for a shoulder. He's day-to-day. Velus Jones actually got about 8 periods today. Then we pulled him, just recovering from an ankle from the last game. And Porter Gustin is still out with a toe injury. With that, I'll take any questions that you have.
Coach, talking to a lot of these guys, it feels like the off week was much needed. You notice a difference out here, maybe in the way they look more fresh?
Yeah, we have a lot fresher legs. It's good to get some of the bumps and bruises away. Really good energy and good juice, as you can see out here. Competitiveness, to be able to step away from the game for them for 3 or 4 days, I think was very advantageous to them, and good for some ball coaches too, to be with our families on Thanksgiving. That doesn't happen very often, and to be able to see my mom and dad and be with my kids, it has not happened in my 23 years, but enjoyed it.
Hard to beat any team twice in a season, but this well-coached Stanford team, is it going to be an even greater challenge?
Oh, no question. Anytime you go up against a David Shaw team, you're in for a physical battle, and they've been a team that's gotten continuously better throughout the season. I was so impressed with the way they played Washington and Notre Dame, two teams that we have a lot of respect for, and the way they played in both those games was ultra impressive.
David was talking about the challenge of playing somebody twice or beating them twice, which they were able to do against you. He said, well, I know USC is listening, but I'll say it anyway. You have a tendency to try to do maybe too much and try to outguess what you did last time and what they're going to change and how do you fight that? That temptation not to try to outguess what they're going to do.
Yeah, Dan, I think, being 13 games in, I think you do focus on yourselves and what's been good for you. You're not going to reinvent the wheel going into week 13, especially in a conference title game. And you try not to overthink yourself. We have had 2 weeks to be able to really scheme and be able to prepare, but as you look at it, we do some things extremely well on both sides of the ball, and that's what we'll lean on.
What are a couple of things on defense that they're doing better now than they were in September?
Yeah, I think right now when you look at it, I think they're stopping the run very well in the last 7 games. A little bit of it is schematically. They've made some schematic changes on their defense, but I think overall they've gotten better, and that's usually what David's team does. Is as they go from game 1 to game 12, they consistently get better, and they're usually playing their best football by the end of the season. This happens to be the case again.
You guys got the best of them back in September, but I wondered, when you walked up the field, did you think we probably will see them again, or we might see them again?
Yeah, well, any time you talk about the David Shaw team and Stanford, especially in that North Division, I think that, don't hold me to it, I think they've been up there for the last 6, I think. So, you're talking about a very class program and a consistent program, and it's going to be a lot of fun to compete against them. We've looked forward for this opportunity to be back in this game, and to be able to face Stanford is a heck of an opportunity.
What did you learn from the last time you played him in this game to this time? What carries over for you?
Try to tackle Christian McCaffrey, and this time try to tackle Bryce Love, I guess. But no, I think, just having some of these older guys haven't been there, haven't been in Levi Stadium, know what it's like, to understand that it's just another game where you're trying to go 1-0. Obviously, implications are on the line. You're always trying to win that next conference title. We sit at 36 right now. You're always trying to get that next one. But for us, I hope the approach that our kids take is it's our next game. It's our next playoff game. It's our next championship game. Just go 1-0 for the week.
What kind of chance does Porter have to play?
I said
he's out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. With the toe, I don't think he's going to be able to practice this week.
Okay.
I think we have a better opportunity in a bowl game.
After seeing the Stanford defense in person and on film, what do you think the strongest aspects are?
Like I said, down the middle of the defense. When you look at their nose, their Mike Backer, and their free safety, they are so strong down the middle of their front. And Harrison does an unbelievable job of being able to keep your interior linemen off the inside linebacker where they can run the lanes. It's amazing to watch their leading tacklers just happen to be those three individuals, and the big nose tackle just plays in people's backfield. His strength, his quick twitch, his effort to the ball. He's an elite player in our league. He's a guy that you have to know where he's at all times.
When you guys went a couple of years ago, did it feel big? I mean, you had gotten a job that week. Did it all feel big, maybe for you and for the team?
Yeah, we were in a position that we had fought really hard. You remember, they had an interim coach that had just been named, and we'd worked for the opportunity to get there and played a really good Stanford team. And sitting there, in a fierce battle in the third quarter, and had some turnovers late there that kind of separated us. One of the things that you do learn when you play Stanford is don't turn the ball over. We'll talk about it later in the week on usually our Wednesday practice, but they're plus 14 right now in turnover margin. They lead our league, and they're one of those teams that you're not going to get very many opportunities. I think teams are averaging 68 plays a game against them, so you have to make the most of each opportunity. If you have a turnover, you're setting yourself back.
Was that first game against Stanford? Was that the best game you guys played this year, do you think?
I think it's one of them. I think the game at Arizona State was another good game. They're all hard in this league, in my opinion, from top to bottom. When you look at it, I think is it nine bowl teams, 9 bowl eligible teams in this league. That's amazing. So each and every time you win a game in this league, you better smile and celebrate all wins. So it's something that I think that one was one of our better ones, but proud of all of it.
Is there any part of you that wanted to get one back on Wazoo and is disappointed you're not facing them?
I'm just happy to be in San Francisco, to be honest with you, on Friday night. We knew up in the north that was a fierce battle. You talk about 3 really good teams: Washington State, and Stanford, battling for their side of the league. But to be with Stanford, we're very excited about it.
Did you watch those games live? Did you watch them as they happened?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I took that night and sat at the house and was a fan for a night. It was a lot of fun.
What was your thoughts watching the Stanford Notre Dame?
I was so impressed with them defensively. After playing Notre Dame and seeing the quarterback, how they kind of took the quarterback out of the game, I thought was extremely impressive. And then I was impressed with KJ. Having known him grow up and watch him grow up and see his progression. David's always been good in training quarterbacks, and here's another one that's coming through the pipeline for him. And was excited for him because he's making the most of his opportunity right now.
Do one more.
Is there an update on Jamel Cook?
Yeah, Jamel's focusing really on academics right now. That's why he's not in practice. We're trying to make sure that everybody's eligible for bowl games, and we got papers and finals that are coming up these next 2 weeks. It's huge academics for us. So right now he's focusing on that.